Hello everyone, Colin Canet here for WoodWorkWeb. Today we have a guest in the workshop today. Today we've got Jen from Cupcakes and Cardio.
Hi everybody.
The reason Jen is here today is she's asked us to make a bookcase for her books, some of her cookbooks, out of some pallet wood, because pallet wood is really popular these days. So what kind of an assortment of books do you have here?
Well, I brought some of my cookbooks that I want to be able to put into a really convenient place, easy to get to and easy to make.
Okay.
But I do have to tell you that I have some woodworking experience. Just give me 1 minute. I was the Parkland Top Grade 9 woodworking student.
Wow.
So, you don't have a dummy on your hands.
All right.
And I also know that in the workshop you need an apron.
Uh-oh.
So, I brought my apron to wear during our job today.
Well, that's perfect. All right. Well, let's get started and we'll come up with a design. So Jen, for the design, I'm not sure what you had in mind, but some of the pallets have this nice cutaway, and it would be nice to have that because it adds a nice element to the design.
Okay.
But it makes the bookcases kind of clunky looking. So what I thought we might do is use a design like this, but with this thinner wood, so it's a little bit more elegant, but we'll do this cutaway. So I'm thinking of a design that looks something pretty simple, something like this, with lifted up a little bit in front,
okay,
and a couple of elements in the back, and then of course another upright in this way, and we'll nail it all together and stain it or dye it, and it should look very nice. And we've got some nice rough pieces and some knots and some nails, so it
So
should
how
look
did
good.
you get this into, like, this was a pallet?
That's a very good question. This was a pallet, and I have a video on how to disassemble a pallet, and that's already been posted. So Jen, let's get started, and we'll start off by cutting all of this wood to length,
Okay.
and then we'll start doing some shaping.
Great.
Okay. We're at the sliding miter, Jen, and before we cut it, we want to check to make sure that there's no nails in it, or that if there are nails, we want to be able to know where they are.
Okay.
So I have this little metal detector, and when you turn it on and set it,
Oh, okay. It beeps when you...
it beeps. So we know that there's 2 nails there.
And the
Now,
rest of your board is clear then, hey?
Where the rest of that board is clear. And there's some more nails there. And we have to be careful that we don't get a false reading off this table, but I did check it on the workbench, so I know that there's nails there and nails there, and I actually know that there's nails there, but we're going to check it all anyway.
There might be a little one hiding around or something.
So those are the only ones. So we want to make sure that we're not cutting nails, and we're going to have this far enough from the blade that we won't be cutting any nails. So what we want to do is we're going to trim off this side first of all, then we'll turn it around and we'll cut off that side so that we get all of these 3 boards exactly the same length.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so let's turn it around on this side and line those up flat against the back like that, and then you're going to hold it, and you're going to move your hand a little bit further back because you want to keep away from the blade.
Because I want to keep my fingers.
That's right. And when you turn the saw on, you're just going to bring the saw right straight down slowly. And when you're finished, when you've cut all the way through, just hold on to the saw, but release the 2 buttons.
Okay.
And just leave it until the saw stops. So you'll pull it down and then release the buttons, but hold it there until the blade stops spinning.
Okay. So go.
Now before we do that, we always wear hearing protection and eye protection.
Good thing I've got it on.
Okay. Now off camera, Jennifer cut these side pieces as well, but what we want to do is we want this little round area, Jen, and what I think we'll do with that is I'm just going to use this washer and I'll measure it like this and just measure around like that, and I'm going to put the same thing up here and just measure it up here, and watch what we do. We'll use this ruler to make that line go straight down,
okay,
and then we'll go straight across from here, and that will give us that little cutaway that gives us a little bit of a nice little variance in there. Now what I think we'll do for this is we'll use this jigsaw because it will give us a cut that is similar to the way all the rest of the pallet material is cut, but it takes quite a bit of force to go around the corner. So maybe you'd like me just to make this cut?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So let's go ahead and make that cut. So we're just going to do the same thing with the second piece of wood, and we're going to use the first piece that we cut as our template. So we'll clamp that down and we'll start doing our cutting. We have all our pieces now, Jen, and I think it's going to be easiest if we pre-drill the holes before we start driving the nails in.
Okay.
So what I like with this little scrap wood that you used on one of your cutoffs, what I want you to do is to very lightly mark the end of each board, and then it can show you where to drill a hole, for example, there and there, and we'll do that on all ends. So if you'd like to do that.
And then just...
Okay, Jen, it's time now to start putting the nails in, and because you've pre-drilled them, you won't have to worry about
Put them
your
in like
fingers.
that.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
And just tap.
And, yep, and just tap them in. Perfect. Okay, now we'll flip that over and do the same on the other side.
Okay.
Okay, Jen, we're going to color your bookcase now. We're going to let you color it.
Okay.
And we're going to use something called an aniline dye. It's like a wood stain, but it's a water-based dye. So just use your paintbrush, and this is watery, so you don't want to slop it on there. Because it'll get everywhere, and just flow it on there.
So just start over here?
That's perfect, yep, and just draw it across.
So we're just going to use this and cover the entire thing?
Yes.
Okay. So is that enough there, or do I need more?
No, that's good. That's perfect.
Okay.
Because we want to show a bit of it's a palette, and we want to show off that rustic look of it.
Yeah, and it really accentuates the all the different like impurities and whatnot in the wood.
It does, yep. Shows up the knots and the little marks there.
Okay, so we'll just keep on going.
Yep, so
and
just keep on going.
we have to let it dry for a period
We'll
of time?
let it dry for a couple of hours, and then we'll give it a final coat.
Okay.
Well, Jen, your bookcase is looking just gorgeous. The dye that we put on it has stained it nicely. It's all nice and dry. And the next thing we want to do now is put on a clear coat finish on top of this.
Okay.
And I've decided that the best thing we want to use is we're going to use a clear coat spray. And I like this Krylon product, but there's lots of other things on the market that would work as well. The reason I like to use a spray is because there's many jigs and jogs, and the wood is fairly rough because it's an old pallet, and spraying is just a lot more convenient.
Okay, and would like the paintbrush catch on those things and whatnot?
That's right,
okay.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to do the spraying with this, and then we don't want to spray in the workshop because it's dusty. We'll send you out to the breezeway. It's a beautiful, calm day outside. You can spray out there, and then we'll check it when you're all finished. But this spray, when you spray, you want to give a nice push down the button and give a nice, even coat back and forth at about 6 inches above the material.
Okay.
So if you can do that, do one test and
just
see
practice
how you...
in here briefly?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just squeeze it down.
Yep. That's perfect. It's already looking better. Yep. And we probably want to give about 3 coats of that, and it'll bring that much more to life. So that's good. Let's get you in the breezeway, and you can finish up the spraying.
Awesome.
Well, Jen, you did a fabulous job of this book stand. Pallet book stand. You finished it nicely, and now you sprayed it. And you know what I like about it? The spray is not a real high gloss, so when you look at it, you can actually see the wood grain and all the nails and all the little imperfections. I think it looks great.
I love it.
Let's have a look with some books in it.
Let's see if we can get our books in here. Nice bright ones. I've got to get my baking ones in too. It's perfect. It's going to fit a lot of them too.
It is, yep. It looks good. And you know what? You could even put your wine bottles or your balsamic vinegar or something like that in there.
Vinegar and oil display or something.
Yeah, you could do lots of things. And
awesome.
You know what would be even more perfect for you? If you had a plaque from school, you could put that right there. Wouldn't that be brilliant?
It looks like I could put all of my woodworking awards.
That's right.
It'd be a little bit lonely since it's the only one.
So this was fun.
It was fun. Thank you so much
good.
for showing me.
Yeah. Well, that concludes our video on making the book rack from pieces of pallet wood. And what else did we do, Jen?
Over on my channel, Colin came and showed me how to make a marshmallow shooter, which is really cool if you have young kids, and it's fun if you want to see me totally destroy Colin in a marshmallow battle.
So you can actually check out Jen's channel. At the end of this video, we'll have a link to her channel and a link to the marshmallow shooter. We did have a lot of fun with that. And we also showed you how to break down pallets, a really easy way of breaking down pallets if you're looking for free wood. So, lots of things. Be sure to stay tuned to our channels and see lots more builds like this.
Make sure you click Colin's subscribe button and come on over to mine and join me and subscribe to us as well.
Great. Good fun, Jen.
Thank you.
Thanks.